I am Francis Mayer, and this is Equity TV. Welcome back. Right now, we're going to talk to another guy who lives in the little universe of Bakersfield College. Good morning, sir. How are you?
How you doing? Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Please introduce yourself and tell us what you do at Bakersfield College.
Well, my name is Manuel Rosas. Right now, I'm a counselor in the Equity and Inclusion Department. I actually just started past Monday on the 2nd of March, so that's what I do now as a counselor.
You are back to counseling, but...
Back to counseling, exactly.
But now, hold on for a minute. BC is a place where not just students develop, but so do employees. And there for a little bit, you had a different hat on. I think you had about 7 hats on, didn't you? What were you doing before your current counseling gig?
Well, at BC alone, I was an advisor for about 7.5 years, working in the counseling department, constructing ed plans, guiding students to graduation, transfer, pretty much have success.
All right, you were a guy who was drawing maps for people to get to their dreams.
Basically, exactly.
Okay. Exactly. And then on an interim basis, weren't you filling in? You were kind of a boss man there for a little bit, weren't you?
Well, yeah, I moved over to the EOPS program, and our assistant director went on leave, and I was called upon, and I accepted the challenge of becoming the interim assistant director, and that within itself was a challenge. I learned a lot, grew from that, and I'm really glad that I got that experience.
But now you're back in counseling, which I think you love, because you're a guy who is about helping people reach their dreams.
Definitely. I love the position.
Did you know that you were going to get these feelings that you get when you were in college yourself?
No, actually, because when I was a freshman at CSUB, that's where I attended.
Right.
Did not have a successful year. I'll admit to that.
But by the way, would have been a lot cheaper if you'd come to Bakersfield.
It would have been a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
You're right.
You'd already be done
that.
with your student loans, my friend. Anyway, I won't rub it in too much, but Bakersfield College for your first 2 years, check it out.
Highly recommend.
Yes.
You go to BC and explore your major, get a path, and then transfer over.
Once you know what you're going to be. Right.
So basically, my freshman year at CSUB was a disaster, honestly. I'll say that up front. Socially, it's probably the best time of my life.
Oh, your parents were so upset with you.
Socially, best time of my life. Lived in the dorms at CSUB. Okay.
Your poor
so
mom
of course
and dad,
we did.
That's an expensive party.
Oh yeah. We did everything that you could think of that your parents told you not to do. Academically, it was probably the worst academic year that I had in my life, and it came down to the point where I had to sit down with the EOP director at CSUB. They had to tell me, look, man, we're going to disqualify you. We should have been disqualified already, but we're going to give you an opportunity and a chance. What are you going to do about it? So,
But Senor Rosas, if I may, did you know how to be a student? Because I didn't. Coming out of high school?
definitely not, no.
I just didn't know how to be a student. And through the student development class at BC, and because I had a couple patient professors, and that's the other thing I'd point out, class sizes at BC are going to be smaller. You're actually going to get to talk to that professor after class if you need to. You're not going to talk to a PA. You're not going to talk to an answering machine. You're going to talk to a professor. So do you feel like you knew how to study or take notes?
Oh, definitely. That was a process. I mean, I had decent grades in McFarland High School. That's where I grew up.
Right.
But I was not prepared for the university.
Okay, hold on, time out. Do you know the guys in the movie?
I knew the guys,
Okay.
but they were older than me, so
Okay,
I
fair
know
enough.
of them. But I didn't go to school with them.
Disney has created a permanent question for you now. You know that every time you tell people you went to McFarland.
Of course. Obviously, I'm not a runner, if you could tell by my physique.
I see you
I
in the
never
gym
ran.
quite a bit.
Yes, but never to that cross-country form. So
Right.
that's a challenge.
And that is one of the benefits of being at Bakersfield College, as we keep repeating. When you're a student at BC, you could always enroll in the fitness center class. You could take swimming. You can break your day up with a little physical fitness.
That allows you to release some stress.
Yes.
Make some new friends in the workout gym.
Absolutely.
Hopefully get you on board someday.
Oh, this guy!
Right?
Come on now. I had to buy bigger slacks. So yes, you
There you
should
go.
see me
It's
there.
time. It's time.
Yeah, it is time. So after that rough first semester or first year at Cal State Bakersfield, did you have any idea what you wanted to be, or were you just kind of doing it?
Well, at that point, I mean, literally, I was in the office crying, right? Because I could picture my mom in McFarland, right? Telling all the neighbors, all our relatives, my son, my oldest, is at the university doing big things.
Oh, gosh.
In my mind, I was thinking, well, I'm about to be dismissed, and I should have been dismissed. So obviously, I had to make a shift on study habits, the choice of not going out and staying in to
Right.
review, write a paper on time finally instead of overnight, right? So that was a process. I either had to shape up or be dismissed. So I had an ultimatum. So that's what it took for me to make the change and transition to actually caring about my academics, and that was a major slap in the face. So I really do hope that our students at BC don't go through that process. They should come in already passionate about their career, their major, and not go through the point of you're going to be dismissed and lose financial aid. And once that happens, it becomes much more difficult to be successful.
Right, but one thing I would hope our students see is that like most of our employees are pretty doggone happy. When I see you, like we're not depressed or anything. Like sometimes we're pretty busy, but that
Oh,
beats
yeah.
being not busy, right? But we're pretty happy folks. And you know, my dad, he worked in a mill. And when he came from home from work, he was exhausted, man. And I remember him stepping out of his work boots and just, you know, he had dust coming out of his sleeves. But we have it pretty good. And if you follow directions and you approach education correctly, you too can have a great job. You can have it made. So what do you do right now to help students, and what kind of student needs you?
Well, really, our campus is predominantly first generation, which I could identify because I was the
Explain
first.
that to me, first generation.
Well, first in your family to obtain a bachelor's degree,
Oh, okay.
basically. So I was the oldest and the first in my family to go to college. And we know that's the majority of our campus is first generation. So we could easily identify. Many of the counselors and advisors are also first generation. So there's a bond. You know, you understand their family background, family dynamics, and the culture in general, and just the environment in general. You understand what they're going through, how unprepared they might be, what kind of questions they have. So I thrive on assisting students that are completely lost like I was, that struggle like I did, and just helping them learn that there is definitely a career path for them. Map it out, look at different options, look at transferring out, and just to instill confidence in them. They should leave our office with some hope, should feel motivated after talking to any counselor, any advisor on campus, motivated to succeed.
But it's scary to be a trailblazer. Like, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of redneck things I know how to do. I know how to pack down a can of chewing tobacco. I know the difference between Doug fir and redwood. I can spot the difference between a 2x4 and a 2x6 and a header beam, because that's where I grew up. And my dad and my grandpa and my great-grandpa, they all worked in the timber mill. But I didn't know a thing about enrolling in college. I felt like I didn't belong. I thought they were going to out me for being a hillbilly and be like, you don't belong here. Get on back. But that's not the case. Our campus is full of people like you, Cornelio Rodriguez, and other people who didn't necessarily come from backgrounds that said higher education, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's a very common issue. Many of our students do not have that individual to ask, how was college? How was university experience for you? Because they're the first in their family. So you do encounter that, being clueless about the enrollment process or the financial aid process and so forth.
But there's no dumb questions.
No, there isn't. No, there isn't. Everybody at BC is there to assist every single student that walks in the door, regardless of their educational background, ethnicity, religion, no, you name it, doesn't really matter. We just know it's a body that has hopes and dreams, and we're there to help them with it.
And don't you get fired up when you see a student maybe around town or maybe even on campus who has taken the help that you gave them and become the person they wanted to be?
Oh, all the time. All the time. At the supermarket, at the movies, at the gas station, you name it. You've been around for so long that you have made an impact with many students. And I'll be honest with you, I don't remember every single name. I mean, we've had thousands of students come in through our office, but it's always a pleasure to get that thank you or a note or just being acknowledged for the service you provided them. It's awesome. It's the greatest.
But the fact that you can't even remember all the names, that should reassure people. That should show them it can happen to you. Anything can happen if you take that first step. You go to the financial aid office, you find a counselor, fill out the FAFSA. The dream does start here at Bakersfield College. Even for guys like you and I who thought college was a place to make friends and sleep in at first,
At
right?
first, yeah. First year. Yeah,
It's never too late to turn it all around.
never too late.
Manuel, I can't wait to see you in the gym, man. Take it easy. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
Coming up next, a person that I've been waiting to speak to all day, actually all weekend. His name is Jesus, and he has a story that absolutely touched my soul. If you're at home and you're making excuses for why you're not pursuing your dream, or you think you're not getting enough comfort or encouragement at home, get ready to feel embarrassed, because this kid is absolutely climbing uphill, and he is battling the odds, and he is winning, and he's going to tell you how he's done it next on Equity TV.